In the final video of the quick start guide, we are going to introduce how to render your scene. And after simulation, when you satisfy the simulation, you are going to make the agent cache for all of your simulation and then send this file to the render department. And the render department will open your scene and set up some of the render parameters and add in the lighting and start to render it. So we're going to talking about how to do that. So let's just open our Maya. Let's open the file we previously saved it, the short one, the simulation, the crowd gremlin simulation file. And of course, you can continue to track the file until you're satisfied everything. And then we needed to cache this simulation into the agent cache. When we transfer this file to the cache, it can be playback interactively, and this is very good for the later use. The render department can make this playback faster, and also it's very good benefit for the motion blur render. So let's place our agents and make sure our frame is 200 and cache the scene with our cache tool. Click this button. And we need to specify a folder of where we need to put the cache, E drive, ABC, for example, the If the file folder is not exist, we'll try to create it. And click yes, has been created successfully. And specify the name test. Please do not enable the agent cache before making this. We need to click the agent cache. This is 1 to the frame 200. It will take a little more time. You can see that our system will play back the animation one more time, and in each frame of it, it will try to write the one cache file for this scene. And after caching, everything can be playback interactively. Okay, that is done, and we just need to enable this and resume this frame to the first frame. Okay, this is reading. You can the playback interactively with it. And then at this time, you can save this thing as to the short one, the gremlin crowd, the render file. And just replace it, and then just send this render file to the render department. There's one thing we needed to talk about is that if you are using the Miami Express, that is free version of Miami, you can only render 100 agents. You can simulate any number of your agents, but you can only render 100 agents. So we are here just only put 100 agents here. And of course, you can simulate the more than 100, but in this example, we only simulate 100 agents here. And there are the free method of the render. The first one is the export limbic, and the second is the mesh drive system of the Miami, and the third is the procedural render. The procedural render can simulate a huge number of agents. And in this video tutorial, we are only talking about the mesh drive system, which is the easiest way to render your scene, and it supports all the renderers on the market. Let's first play back our agents, and it can be playback interactively. For rendering your scene, the first thing we need to check is the skinning and the geometry. Please deplace our agents and see that the geometry. You can see that the body geometry, we already put that into the geometry gremlin here. All the geometry inside of this group can be rendered. If the geometry is outside of this, then nothing can be rendered. So we need to put that all of them into the gremlin geometry here. And please make sure all of this geometry are binded by a skin bind by this the origin agent. Let's just move that and test this out. You can see that when we move the joint inside of this, the origin agent, the geometry will be deformed. That is correct. So let's just click Ctrl Z and resume them back, and this is correct. And then let's set up some of the render. Please go to the other render, and the mesh drive 2 and 3, we need to specify the folder here, E drive, ABC. And please make sure this folder existed inside of your hard disk and in mesh drive test. Okay, and the Playstar agents. Make sure they can be playback interactively, and we needed to export the mesh drive free cache firstly. This kind of cache is kind of the procedural cache for Maya shape. So we need to cache them. And after caching that, our scene is ready to be rendered. Let's displace our agents, and let's just create a light here, directional light, and create a plan for simulating the ground. We need to put some shadow on the ground. Here, render. Image drive free and duplicate mesh and the randomized texture. We don't need to randomize the geometry or the texture, so we just click the cancel here, and mesh drive free and enable mesh drive. You can see that there are the bounding box here has been displayed inside of your scene, and when you change the frame, it can update. At this time, we can just click the render and render this out. And let's just put some of the shadow here. Select the light, and click Control A, and select the shadow. Use this is a directional light, as we just use the retrace shadow here, and render this again. So change the direction here. Okay, you can see that the shadow has been rendered, and then you can of course use other renderer as you wish. For example, Viri here. Viri will use their own frame buffer window. This is kind of Viri result, and of course the Arnold. Change the Mentory. No Arnold installed. Mentory. Okay, this is the introduction of the render. Thank you for watching. See you next time.